Back to sleep after this. But wow, they put up this movie called Caged Heat in 1970. I think it's four or whatever. They kept putting it up, and this little curious thing. Okay, I gotta watch this. I don't know why. It's a '70s sexploitation movie. Uh, um, because no one in it is a very good actor, but a lot of them are very what we refer to as sexually attractive. And they tried to put good people that could act in it, uh, and then they put together this sexploitation thing about the system and the corruption of the system and stuff. And so they're trying to be cerebral about it, but that's hard to do when you're insane and stupid, right? So you're sitting there watching. I started watching some, and I was okay. Well, as much as I like to see, attractive women's bodies, as much as it'd be a lot more comfortable just to go look at pictures online and say, wow, that's the kind of body I used to like to remember to touch. And, okay, and that would be about it. So there's lots more comfortable ways to look at women's bodies without artistic expression from crazy people that manipulate people to feel powerful with money, right? So I don't want to look at Otto Premiger's imagination. It's just not my thing. So when people are distorted and people are manipulated and they capitulate to that distortion and that manipulation, they become that distortion and manipulation, and then they misconceive that as free will. Now, when you have faith in God and you understand free will, you go read Psalms. You meant for me to lie beneath, lie in still pastures and green pastures and next still waters, because, in order to sustain myself and loving my wife and my children, I need to honor the gifts of life of sacrifice and maintain the balance and the respect and the harmony to understand the natural laws that I need to have a good life, right? And so I become a good shepherd, and I'm not a wolf, and I'm not a predator, because I look at the wolves and I look at the predators. You got to understand that instead of watching TV and selling products and trying to impress people with intelligence, in ancient times, you had to be intelligent to impress anything upon anybody. Okay. I got that from Little Hawk and Abraham. We didn't have TV, we didn't have J-Lo's butt, we didn't have solid gold dancers, we didn't have all the Babylonian Philistine bullshit. We had to understand life to, a very good authority of how to protect our children and our spouses, like with Lot and Abram and other things and stuff. And so we had to be very good at what we did. And if you study the story of Lot, you don't have to study it. If you just look at and examine the story of Lot and Abram, they both got into trouble trying to find a place to live among righteous people with their wives. Lot's wife and Abram's wife. They both ran into similar problems. And my sister talks about what a bad guy Lot is. It's like, not his wife. His wife wanted to stay in Babylon, and he couldn't find anybody for his daughters to marry in Babylon. And his mom and his wife wanted to stay in Las Vegas and be part of orgies. And so he gets off and gets depressed and goes, my wife wants to stay in Orgyville. And then the daughters have to get him drunk to have sex with him so they can keep having kids, because they were looking for son or husbands and they couldn't find any. And then my sister sits there and declares Lot a pervert. It's like, okay, it wasn't his wife. It's always the guy. It's not the woman. They go to the city, it's Sodom and Gomorrah, and she wants to stay and be a caged heat, because now she thinks she might want to have sex with women and men at the same time, because you don't want to have kids, because you just might as well give in to the group. Have lesbian sex and only have sex with survival of the fittest. And if your kids are too weak, kill them. And Lot's like, this is horrible. And he gets out, and the girls agree he's right, because he raises his daughters to be horrible, and then they feel they have to get him drunk because he's not going to have sex with him, and they get desperate. And that's what happens is desperate times they feel calls for desperate measures. And you can't be like that. And they went looking for other people to Christianize because they didn't want to inbreed. Okay. And that's one of the most beautiful, hopeful things about the Bible is the story about Lot and Abram and their wives. But their wives are the ones who try to give in. They lose faith. They lose hope. The men are like, let's just keep trying. Because I don't want to be inbred. And I want to love you for the rest of life. And she gives up and goes, no, let's just give in to New York. Let's just give in to Las Vegas. Let's just do like the when in Rome, let's do like the Romans do. And both Lot and Abram are like, we can't. We'll cease to be us. We'll breed ourselves off the planet if we behave like the Londoners. Oh, Mary, this London's a wonderful sight. Now don't be starting them fashions now, Mary McCree, in the place where the dark morn sleeps down to the sea there, right? You see that little Kristi Noem girl, and she makes that commercial about Donald Trump. And she sits there and she goes, you'll never come back. And all the people on TV say that's not true. If we realign all the things in California the way you realign them in Texas, and then we do that with D.C. and we get Puerto Rico in, we'll always have a Democratic president and we'll always be able to walk in anytime we want to. Okay. Why do you want to walk in? Because your country's screwed up by the CIA. Why do you want to come into the country that mass murders the people in your country to be powerful, to come here and try to take over and be powerful too? Okay, never mind. I'm sorry. I'm not retarded. I don't understand retarded people. I have to sit there and talk to them and then go, talk to me some more. You don't have to go. I've got a sultry laugh. Fuck you. Okay, so you got to understand, when you're dealing with people, it's hard for a person that's good to understand people that are bad. Okay. And you have a story of a man named Samson with the Philistines. Okay. And then you have Art of War. You never have a story of a Hebrews trying to mass murder Caesar. Okay. Does Mordecai try to get people to become assassins? Does he have Esther assassinate the bitch fit of Persia? No. She tries to turn him into a man. Be a man with all the graciousness of a good shepherd. Be a man like the swordsman of Japan. Be a man, walk Islam eternally, because your kids will be perfect and reflect the laws of nature to require the life of sacrifice through loving babies. Right? So you like, damn, right? Babies ain't safe around you. And when you look at those people, they all end up incarcerated, rump ranging each other, fighting each other to be who's the top rump ranger who gets to get other guys to suck their dick, fuck them in the ass, and trade them for cigarettes. And you're like, oh man, you're manly. Oh my gosh, you're so gorgeous. I can hardly contain myself. Please fuck me to death, you sexy fucking Mike Tyson, and beat the hell out of me. I feel like I'm a fucking beauty contest winner. Woo-hoo, right? So we have a story of someone like myself having to kill 5,000 raping Philistines to try to get them to work in the fields and love the women and children. But we don't have any stories of 5,000 guys like me coming to try to kill Mike Tyson, to replace Mike Tyson as the top cigarette salesman and rump ranger in the prison, right? Everybody know that, right? Okay, so why are you so fucked? I'm John Gilbert. Why are you so slow? And they call me disabled, right? Do you see what I'm saying? Okay. Good old John. He's good. And that was when I sat in the break room and looked at the charts on the grocery wall. And Mohammed laughed and he goes, what, are they trying to kill everybody with morbid obesity? Okay, this is a military control zone town that has a population that stabilizes around 40,000 people, right? Well, then the grocery sales should stabilize. They want to be healthy, right? So whatever's healthy, they should do. Then we should eliminate all grocery sales. There you go. Psalms, Proverbs, share, care, given according to need, built to last. Okay. So Kristi Noem, she's completely lost. She's crazy. Okay. You will deport you and you'll never come back. And they're all laughing, going, you can't back that up in 4 years. We'll all be back here plotting how we're going to kill your gang to take over your gang to rump range to yes. And then, she'll munch your rug really hard. She'll have you creaming and creaming and creaming. So you'll have tons of orgasms, no children, and your rug munching fight to be the top rug muncher in prison dies with you. Wow, Philistine. So I didn't even have to take the job on the ass and split neither one of y'all's heads. You did it for yourself because you can't sexually reproduce, because if there's no men, there's no women can spontaneously sexually reproduce. I know we've seen the Sigourney Weaver alien movie. crazy ass killer hermaphrodites from hell. Okay, but is that following nature? Is that sustaining nature? Does that sustain our babies? You know, sleeping with one eye open, knowing that your cellmate will kill you for cigarettes and aggressive, violent sex, and just make the womb completely violent. No, it requires the suitable seed for the egg. Okay. And then when you obey the laws, honor thy mother and father, and yada yada, then everything works out well. If you don't obey the laws given to you by the essence of your existence to maintain your existence, you become a whacked out fucking propaganda cartoon called the Fantastic Four. And it's like, and you ain't getting near my prostate because it's going to recover, because I'm not going to have pesticides played at 4 o'clock in the morning because of corporate corruption. And so I have to tell the technology to do, because I have to be like them to correct the technology. I'm like, what? I don't understand. This is insane. Yeah, they count on that. Oh, fuck. Okay, Jesus, what? So I have to be like this master and commander in order to get the technology to obey me, and then reduce the technology to only necessary, like a gracious good shepherd who watches us sleep while everybody else sleeps and rests so we can work in the field. So this is a long, laborious process, and it's hideous, and it's painful, and it's terrible. And I'm not vindictive, and I'm not evil, and I'm not mean. Okay, and you know how hopeful I am, the way I keep going back into my child rape of the 4-year-old with the Temple Set Illuminati and go, you can do it, Duffy Morgan. Come on, Jenny, Lenny, Lopez, Dorky, Torky, Torky, Goofy, Loofy, Doofy, Toofy. You don't want to end up in a relationship with me. All I'll do is sing silly songs to you night and day. You won't get Mr. Thanks for calling Southwest Airlines. No, I ain't going to give you, you don't deserve Southwest Airlines. Okay? Besides, nobody deserves Southwest Airlines. Park the fucking planes. Why are you flying? Why are you flying? Stimulate the economy. Okay, what's the world's first profession? Okay. Perversion. There you go. Okay, thank you. All right, so you never know. I'm just being facetious. I think when I recover and everything like that, I think my main voice, is very calm, and my calm voice is my bedroom voice. And so she'd probably get that a lot, and she'd be like, wow, this is great. It's like, what do you mean? This is great. You haven't oopy-doopy, you bring them grandkids over tomorrow, and it's, yeah, and I think it's adorable, and I do the same goofy thing. Hey, we're on the same page. Excellent. I also like foursome days. I also like stylistics. I also am, are you sure your mother had as good a taste as my mother and liked Nancy Wilson? I thought it was all like Tito Puente, and I'm just kidding. She likes Babs. My mom likes Babs, too. And Nancy Wilson is the best. I totally agree. Well, she's not the best, but you know what I mean. Well, she good. I understand. Okay. I got to stop this thing. It's getting too long. Okay, we'll talk later. Peace.